Good morning. I welcome all of you for this brief meeting where our illustrious guest, Dr. Latha Christie Madam, is going to have a talk on leadership methods for educators. Thank you so much. I welcome all of you. Madam Secretary, it is late, so without wasting much time, I hand over the mic to Madam.
Good morning. It's a great privilege for me to be here with all of you. I have met many of you last time. And just the day before yesterday night, when he told first, I told I'm not able to do because next day I had continuously yesterday meetings. But then I thought I'm going there for some reason God has sent me. So I thought let me share my experiences because all of you are great educators and I'm no one to tell you about leadership. But all of us have learned. Leaders are not born, but they are made. That's very, very important. And I call the educator especially because there is a difference between a teacher and an educator, right? Teachers just teach things. Teachers, whatever you are supposed to learn, acquire knowledge, they do it. But educators are something different. They transcend the students to go beyond what they can go. Something they can sing songs to their souls. That's what I would like to say. Like you make a student to go beyond what they can probably achieve by their own strength. That's what an educator normally do. And that's what it's all about, more than acquiring knowledge and information. And that's why today I'm going to speak about teacher come leader as an educator. That they have relationship. Educators are made of relationship. Even in Trinity, what is the concept of Trinity is relationships. Father, Son and Holy Spirit love one another so much that love goes to the world. And that's why when we have that knowledge of Trinity, that is unity in diversity. That's very, very important. How in a university, we have so many different types of students, but we can make every student to transcend beyond their capability, their limit. So we can push them forward. We can develop a classroom approach that inspires learning. Because sometimes, have you ever met, many of us have met some teachers who have inspired us so much that we have passed in their subjects 100%. And when I was a lecturer for 1 year in Meppushlank Engineering College, Sivakasi, I saw to it all of them will get first class. So in my subject, 1 year I was there, all of them got at least passed and most of them were first class students in my subjects. So that's what, it's not about hierarchy, like who is the top one. It's a frame of mind. Leadership is not about hierarchy, it's not about title. It's about relationship, how we are able to connect with someone and make them a leader. It's not about me going up and up and up in the ladder. It is like how I can push someone to go up, how I can inspire and influence, something different what the normal leaders. Today you see leaders, they are not leaders, they are professional manipulators, I would say. Actually, whatever we see leaders in this world around, they are really not leaders many times. They just try to pull someone else to come up. They are not really leaders actually. We just call them because of their titles, because of their power, because of their position. So today what I wanted to say is about how to become a leader of God's own heart. How we can be leaders in our own place, where we can inspire and influence people to make a better society, to make a better world. So, next. So that's what leadership is about, connection, it's about mentoring. So don't need a title to be a leader. Leaders are without titles. So I wanted to tell a story like a professor one day called all of the students who were passing out from his class to his house and he gave them coffee. So one bowl was there full of coffee and he had a lot of cups. So students had to go and take the cups and take the coffee. So everybody wanted the beautiful cups. Everybody went and picked the beautiful cups. But then finally when they were all sitting, the professor asked, does the coffee taste same or something it is different? They said it is same. So life is like that. They're all false selections, the titles, the car we drive, the home we have, the things we possess are all selections, like outside. What we have inside is life. Life is how you can bring up someone else, how you can be an inspiration to the world around you. That's what makes a leader a leader. So leaders make leaders. That's what it's all, everything is all about. So it's not about me. Leadership is everything about, not about me. If your action inspires others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, then you become a leader. Because leadership is all about inspiration. Because the first thing is when a person does not know who he is, what he is, and many of us, for example, a fish there is no need to teach it to swim. A bird, no need to teach it to fly. God has put that unique potential within them. Everybody are made for unique thing. If you ask a crocodile to fight and bear in the water, crocodile will win. But if it is in the land, bear will win. The same manner, each of us have different potential, but as parents, as teachers, we want everybody to be same. And that's a problem comes into picture. Because if we are a great leader, we will bring out the potential in them. That is the most important thing, what God has put the potential in them. If it is, we can be parents, we can be teachers, but unless we pray and find out each one is made for what purpose and bring them that potential out. Potential is unused energy, unsung songs. For example, I would say like most of the graveyards are full of potential. Like many songs that were supposed to be sung but not sung. Many ideas that were supposed to make big things but not done. Many poems which are supposed to be written, many books but not done. So who is that leader? Brings out the potential in a person. Before going to the grave, he can bring out the potential in them, in your children, in your family, in your own children, in the school children, college children. Everybody, they feel you are a family to them. They come most of the time here and they spend most of the time with you. So sometimes some people are millennials, we call them. They are all the time into their Facebook, how many likes I have got, how many WhatsApp, all the time into that. So they are in a different world right now, people are. And dopamine, that is released when you drink alcohol. But people nowadays, when you even work on this sort of mobile gadgets, that same thing is released. That's why it's so bad that when you're sitting with someone, you don't even look at their face, look at your mobile. That is the generation we are living in. Even in the house, many times we stop communication. We sit opposite, but we talk to a person who is not sitting opposite. So funny it is. People say they are lonely, but they have many friends. So that is a situation, empty place we are in. So this particular millennials need a different approach. A different approach. It's not that like the olden days where we are used to it. If you use that same approach, that's called autocratic. I say you do it. That's autocratic leadership approach. If you use that on this millennials, they won't do it. For example, somebody was telling that if I am a great leader, if I keep hiring my employees, then there will be a sense of culture. The positive culture will not be built in. In the whole environment, there will be a negative culture built in. So people will work, but they will work because they fear. And that work will not be 100% great thing. But if you work out of your own energy, own passion, you can see the environment will be changed. There will be a positivity flowing. So that's when, for example, a person, let me assume in an organization, three times continuously if a person does not bring out any result and a leader comes in and says you're fired. And in another organization, the same way that person does not work continuously for 3 months or 3 tenure, like 3 quarters, and then the leader comes in. He looks at him, I'm really worried about you. What's happening to you? Is there something wrong? Might be in your family or in your health or anything. I'm ready to help you out. See the approach. The first person does not even bother what's happening to him. Many of us sometimes, we have some other things pulling us down and that sometimes reflects in our work, reflects in our environment. And when we don't think about that and we look at the outside outcomes alone, we tend to be selfish and we tend not to bring out the potential in others. I have seen many, before going into my leadership techniques, just 5 minutes, I wanted to say this: millennials have a lot of other problems. For example, in college, you are in a college atmosphere, it's a co-ed college, right? And you might deal with many different things like codependency, suicidal tendencies. Many people, when they are young, right now, people who are sexually abused, 94% of the people who are abused are acquaintances, close acquaintances, their own family people, their own nephews or whatever it is, uncles or brothers, whatever, that same thing happens. So a person don't feel like telling it out because there will be secondary victimization can happen. That's why many times primary victimization, if a person is raped, secondary victimization, we tell them because of your dress or because of your behaviors it's happening. So many times people keep secrets. That affects their studies, that affects their everything out. And that's the way that an educator will pitch in. They find suddenly if a student is studying well and something goes wrong, what's happening? A teacher was telling recently, I went to a college, a student who was continuously getting very good marks, suddenly after her mother died, she got very, very low marks. Then they found their own father is abusing her. So it's not that so easy to find out, but still when you pray, when you think, when you have so much interest on your own children, God will reveal things. That's when you can pitch in and help them out. And similarly, like codependency, some people are codependent. They feel that others validate them. In Cinderella's story, you see, then Cinderella did not know that she's beautiful inside. She has a talent inside. She needed the fairy godmother to tell that she is good looking and the prince to accept it. So seeing all the stories, either people going, they don't have talents, they want someone to validate, or they wait for Prince Charming to come. So then even boys and girls, both I'm telling, when someone comes and tells that without you I will die, they are the potential abusers. If somebody comes and tells without you I will die off, they later kill them. It is that same thing. So that's why we have to be very careful in dealing with our own children and other children to find out whether they are involved in such things. And those people will victimize them. You should teach them to draw boundaries, because there is a boundary where we draw in our house. Yes, they teach them to tell no to impure things. Teach them to have that good character, to speak out. When will they speak out? When you listen. A leader is a good listener. A teacher should be a good counselor, a mentor, a listener to the stories of the children. That's when you can get involved in their life. And when they can open it out, you will know why they are. Because so many deaths can be avoided if a teacher or a parent is more proactive. Many times we fail to do so. Many suicides, youth suicides are happening because they don't have any hope. There is no purpose in life for them. Why don't they have a purpose? Because nobody is there to tell them why they are and for what they are. So develop a purpose for everybody and show them this is the reason they are here. If you don't have a purpose, the greatest tragedy in life is not death. The greatest tragedy is living without a purpose. People always, when they don't have a purpose, why they do what they do, why they come here, nothing they know. They just lose out on everything. So a leader, and why I just, before going to my leadership techniques, I just thought this is very important. Because you're all, I came to know it's 12,500 students are studying here. It's something, a big, great college, and you have a potential to influence many, many, many souls. After we go to heaven only we'll come to know how many people we have influenced. Might be here, we will not know. But that thing is in your hands. And many times leaders also micromanage. Because if you're if you're a head of something and you micromanage the details what the others are doing, you will not be a leader, you will be only a manager. You trust others, authenticate their works, inspire them, make them to do, develop leaders. Develop leadership. A leader will never make followers. A leader will make leaders. And even your student can be a leader. They can inspire. So that's what I wanted to teach. Make leaders. Develop leaders. Don't micromanage each and every activity. So then you will have potential followers. They follow you not because you are a leader by title. They follow you because they want to follow you, right? I want to follow my leader because I'm so happy. Earlier when people were talking, my father likes one leader called Kamaraj. So people wanted to follow him because he's not after money, title or anything. He was not. So the same manner, many people, even Abdul Kalam, my leader, in our DRDO, he was head. People, they were telling him, whoever worked, I have met him around 2 times, but who worked for them, he inspired them. One day, one person was working late and he said, I wanted to leave at 5:30, my son's college day. So he said, okay, you carry on. But he saw till 7, he was still there. So Abdul Kalam he ran to his house, and he took the children and they went to the school day and they came back. This father went back home and they found the children so happy. He thought the children will be angry at him. But he said that your boss came and he told that you asked him to come and take us. So it is that way that you pitch in your followers' life, that you give life, you bring life, you develop life. Everything is all about life. It's not about outside. That's what I said. It's all false directions we follow after. So Thomas Alva Edison. Thomas Alva Edison, all of you might be knowing. He did light bulb, but he failed 1,000 times. That somebody said you failed 1,000 times. He said it's not 1,000 times, I never failed, but I perfected it 1,000 times. So he made lot of patents. But who was his influence, One day when he was a young boy, he came home and he brought a letter from his teacher. And the teacher said that, gave a letter and his mother was reading that letter, closed letter, so mother was reading and she started crying. So Thomas Alva Edison asked, why are you crying? She said, I'm so happy and crying because your teacher said you are a genius and they are not having the strength to bring you up there. So they have told you homeschool him and they sent him away, sent you here. So she homeschooled him and she became a great scientist. And once after her death, she was going through her papers and in that this letter was there. The truth was that letter had, your son is a fool, he cannot study, so he is expelled from our school. He cannot study because he is not that intelligent. So his mother changed that and it changed a person who are nobody to somebody. So a leader is a person who can bring out a nobody and make him a somebody. That is a leader. So that's what everything leadership is all about. So what is not leadership? Politics without principle, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, wealth without work, business without morality, science without humanity. So this is not leadership, but what we see in politics, there is no principle. And what we see many times, people go after pleasure without conscience. Knowledge is there, but there is no character. Character is everything. Without character, there is no leader. That is an authentic leader. People finally follow you because of your character. It's not because of your intelligence, not because of the perks what you're giving to them, not because of anything else, but your character. Character speaks. What is character? When you're in your personal life and when you're in your outward life, that should not be different. Your close people should see the same you as the other people. So that's what everything is all about, character. And wealth without work, business without morality, science without humanity. That's what we see, but this is not leadership. This is manipulation, I said. So leaders and managers are totally different. I already said managers manage things, leaders change things. Leaders are change makers. They break the rules. Managers follow it. They do it. Leaders do right things, but managers do everything whatever the leader says in the right manner. So that is a manager and a leader difference. So true leadership is not about power, it is about empowering others. When you can empower others and make them a leader, you become a leader. It's not about manipulation, but it's about inspiration. It's not about controlling others, but serving them day in and day out. It's not about charge, but taking care. It's not about people, but about purpose, what you have instilled in that people. It's not about doing, but what your people are becoming. If you tell your students to do this, do that, do this, do that, and you are not a leader, but if you are worried about how they are becoming as an adult, what they are becoming, how their character is changing, how they are growing as an adult, what they are becoming, then you are a leader. Now you can find your own difference, whether you are a leader or a manager. So today I think maybe we can think about in our heart. I have changed a lot from the beginning. So all of us have the people. There was a story about in San Francisco, they had a zoo. It's a real story. Around 66 penguins were there. They were feeding them so well. They ate well, nicely they ate and then they slept. They ate, they slept. They didn't even swim, so they were happily enjoying eating and swimming. Then after some time, they brought in 6 penguins from another zoo, Ohio. They put them inside the same water. Those penguins started swimming day in and day out, day in and day out. These people were looking at them all the time. They never told them anything. After some time, zoo managers could not even control. All the 66 jumped inside, and they also were swimming. So it's like unless people see something different in you, they will not do it, right? So unless you be the change, you cannot change others. So what people see in you, how you are different, that's very, very important. So 3 I's of leadership: inspire, influence and impact. Many people never see things. Some people see the things, but they don't pursue after it. So achievers see and pursue it. Leaders see, pursue it, and help also others to see it. Can you find the difference? See, there are many, around 100 people you take in this place. It's at least 50 of them will never see anything, something great in anything. For example, creativity is seeing things what others does not see. It is seeing the invisible, feeling the intangible. That is creativity. So some people see it, but they still don't pursue after it. But achievers pursue after it. Leaders help others also to pursue after it. That is a leader. So we never know how much influence we carry out on others. It's a mysterious thing. Sometimes we exert influence either to heal or to wound others. Sometimes we give a wrong influence to others. We influence others. Sometimes people think that person spoiled so many of my lifetime. So that is the way how we influence. Hope we all influence others in a better way. That how this influence comes. First, it starts with inspiration. We are a source of inspiration. Steve Jobs, whomever worked with him, they said he is a source of inspiration. Like that Abdul Kalam, whomever worked with him, because they appreciate others. How do you appreciate? You just feel if everybody have a tag on their forehead, make me feel important. Today you made me feel important. I came late, but still you waited. I'm sorry, but that's the way. If you make somebody else feel important, you tell them you're great. You talked well. You did these things well. What you did for me, I appreciate. That is appreciation. When you appreciate others, make them feel important, you become a source of inspiration. For example, you can criticize people, but how do you criticize your students? Or how do you criticize? It's called a sandwich approach. How many of you know the sandwich approach? You use some 4 words of criticism. You have to constructive criticism you are telling. Sandwich it to authenticity, 2 things what you are praising them. For example, everybody will have good points. So tell them first one good point. Then tell that all critical, whatever points you want to say. Then I finally end with another good point. So that is the sandwich approach. You can use it on your students or on your children. So they will not feel the problem with your criticism. They will take it constructively. So that is called a sandwich approach. So you become an inspiration. And then you do, when you become an influencer, you do things and others see it and you are influencing them because you are a source of influence. And finally you are impacting their life. You are bringing productivity in your organization, in your life, in others' life. So that is impact. So inspire, influence and impact are the 3 I's of leadership. So Proverbs says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Jesus called them and said, you know that these are all rulers, they lord it over them. But you should not be like that. Whomever is great, you should be their servant. That's why Jesus washed your legs. I have come not to serve but to be served. Not to be served but to serve. He came to serve. The one who made heaven and earth, the whole universe, such a powerful universe. He space, time and matter, everything started. The one who shaped the shapeless, who formed the formless, who created everything out of nothing. He came down as a simple slave. So how much more? Sometimes we feel that somebody has hurt us so much, somebody has done so much evil to us. But when we compare ourselves to the Creator, came down to die for us, we are nothing. So we can change, we can forgive people, we can help people because He is a great influence over us. And leadership styles, all of us know about authoritative model. Like you command, you rebuke, you tell like an army commander, all of us would have heard. And then laissez-faire. This laissez-faire is all about, you can lead and I'm here just to enjoy. Or I make others to lead and I don't get involved. This is good sometimes when your successors are very great leaders and you don't need to micromanage, they do everything. So sometimes it is good, but most of the time these 2 leadership are not effective leadership. So people nowadays use democratic where people give values and take everybody's opinion. Visionary leadership, they create vision and make people to follow that vision. That is also called transformational where you transform an organization. You become the leader, you become the visionary and you transform the individuals, you transform the organization. Coaching, you coach, you sit with them and coach day in and day out and make them somebody greater what they are not. And the servant leadership, this is one of the best leadership where you came here to serve and love others, that will impact others' life. So these are some of the forms the leader can choose. That's also called situational. Based on the situations or based on the peak times, you can change the leadership style. Because this leadership style will be useful for this person. This leadership style will be useful for this situation. That's called situational. So authentic leadership. Great enough to be without pride. Team gets the credit, you get the blame. For example, when I joined as a leader, as a project leader many years back, when my project had a problem, director asked me why you have got into why this failed. I had once told somebody was doing assembly and it failed because of that. He called me separately and he said, anybody does mistake, hereafter if that goes, you should take it on you if you are the project leader. Every blame should come on you and every credit should go to the team. If at all your project succeeds, let the team take over. That's what Abdul Kalam said. His boss, once when the project succeeded, he made Abdul Kalam to give the press release. When the project failed, he stood in the front and he did the press release. Because that's what he learned. When you take the blame, when the things go wrongs, and you give credit when things get correct, then you are the authentic leader. You are one of the greatest leader. Leaders are vulnerable. If they do mistake, they accept it because they are not insecure. Have you heard about insecurity? A person with insecurity only cannot allow others to come up. Only will compare themselves with others. A secure person will never compare himself. They are not knowing their securities with God. Their identity comes from God, not from others' words. So they are so secure, they don't compete. And they don't right enough to say, they say when they do mistake, everybody does mistake. They'll say, I have done this, it's my mistake. So wise enough to admit when they don't know anything. If you don't know, tell don't know, because people will see your authenticity, your character, they'll trust you. So you should not be busy enough to listen. You should be, even though you're busy, when someone comes to you with praying, you should have the time to listen. That's a great leader. So now, coming to the models of Maxwell's style of leadership. He gives 5 styles of leadership. First is position, permission, protection, people, and personhood. So what are these 3 levels? First, everybody will come to a position. You are a leader because you are a team. Correct? It's a position. So you are a leader because of your title. So people are following you, many teachers are following you because you are a team. And then you permission level. They follow you because you give them permission. Even though you are not their dean, they respect you, they obey you, they do things what you tell them because they know that you will tell the right thing. So it's not coming because of your position. It's coming because you have given them permission to do that. Automatically they want to follow you. And then come to the protection level. What is protection level? You produce results. You bring lot of students out with great success. And you bring results. So now they look at you and they say, this person is producing. I need to follow because then only I will also produce. So you are at the protection level. You bring output, you bring results. And then you bring out leaders, people. You're people oriented, like you people respect you because of who you are. You cross the permission level, you cross the protection level. And now finally that last level where personhood, they say, here people, even from the society, people look at you and respect you. You go to that highest level because of character, because of authenticity, because of who you are, because of helping your society, helping the people around. Your voice matters. You matter to everything because of what you are built in, of the character of your life. Because Abdul Kalam, first, he was a position leader. Let me take his example. He was a project leader. So then he gave permission for his team to accept him. Even though he didn't tell them to stay late, they stayed late. For them there was no time. Even though 5 o'clock the office closes, they stayed because he gave them permission. And then production. They started bringing out missiles, everything, and then they saw some results. They were happy, they found a purpose. And then he was people oriented, and then they found that he crossed their boundaries, and then he became for the society, for India. So that way a person goes from one level to another level. So now finally I wanted to tell about the greatest leader who ever lived, whom I ever met, Jesus Christ. Why he was a great leader? These are the points which I have noted down. He spent time with his people. If you can take some of the verses and read, we can discuss. John 15:15. He spent time with his people. What is John 15:15? You have? Okay. No problem. He spent 3.5 years with the 12 disciples. 12 people were uneducated, untrained men. But at Acts 4th chapter, if you see, they said that they were very bold. Then they said these people, they were looking at them and they said they were with Jesus. Seeing their boldness, they understood and astonished that these were uneducated men, but amazed that they were with Jesus. So Jesus transformed them totally that 3.5 years. So if you want to be a great leader, you have to spend time with your followers. He led them with love. He brought them up. He gave them love. Christians, you will be called as Christians because you love one another. He brought a love as the fundamental thing. In the Old Testament, there were 630 laws, more laws, but Jesus abolished everything. He said, everything is contained in only these: to love the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and love one another as you love yourself. By your love, let others tell that you are Christians. But many times we fail in this. He developed leaders, the third one. He made Peter as a great leader. Peter was scared. And Peter and John were just a fishermen. He did not choose religious leaders. You know, all the 12 disciples you see, any religious leader was there? Well, then no. He took the greatest business leaders of that time, fishermen. Fishing was the greatest business of that time. So he took fishermen. And then Matthew was an accountant. Luke was a doctor. All the people who followed him were professionals. They were working somewhere. And he made them as leaders. Paul became one of the greatest leaders. He served his people. He washed their legs. The one whose hands he flung out the stars out. With that hands he washed. Before whom the whole world will kneel. He knelt before them. And he did everything because he came to serve. He was patient when they said that I wanted to bring in fire from heaven. He said, do you know what sort of spirit do you have? He was patient. He could if he does like that from the heavens, so many angels would have come when he was on the cross. But he remained there because he had a purpose in that, to redeem the whole humanity. He was more about their character, what they were becoming, not what they were doing. He was worried about their character. He said, he brought in a child and said, be like this, do not fight among yourself. He was worried about their character. More than what they are becoming or what they are doing. He led an exemplary life. He got up early morning and went for prayer. Why? He wanted to show them that example. Do unto others as I did to you. Love others as I loved you. Everything he set an example. This is one of the greatest things for a leader. Leader leads by example. Otherwise, he's not a leader. So Jesus Christ saw things in his disciples that others did not see. He saw them differently. Others looked at them as just fishermen. Jesus looked at them as not only fishers of the one who is fishing the fishes, but fishers of men, who will bring them out of their bondages, who will bring them out of their slavery to addictions, to many things, who will bring them out of oppression. He said things that others did not see. Others did not say. His words gave value to the people. He believed things that others did not. He believed in them. He felt things that others did not feel. He had compassion. He did things that others did not. His miracles, his proof. He lived out his message. That's most important. Jesus Christ lived out whatever he spoke. That's what he did. He was not fully God. He was God and man. He was having all manly feelings. He was thirsty. He cried. He was a man. Though he was God, he left everything. He emptied himself. Came out as a human being. That's why he had to pray to get the Spirit of God to live a human life. Exemplary human life. So that's what he modeled for us to live. Go to God early morning and stay and get his power and then live out. Otherwise we will not live that way. So that is the way greatest leader teaches. So on this I said, learning to lead like Jesus. So develop other leaders. Teaches others to lead by example. He delegated authority. Sometimes we don't delegate authority. We want to do everything ourselves. A leader will not manage. He makes others leaders. He empowers them. Jesus empowered them. He made Peter to walk on the water. Right? He walked and he said, you also come and walk. And then he made the fishermen to become great people. He sent them. He made a person called Paul, who was opposing him as one of the greatest preachers. He made an executor, an expounder of the gospel. So that is the first power he had. He developed others leaders. He helped people with life issues. A Samaritan, 5-time married lady. Everybody didn't want to even speak to her. No preacher would love to sit next to her because his name will get spoiled. But Jesus looked at her and taught her theology and changed her, transformed her, made her the first evangelist. When people did not even give birth to women those days, Jesus gave birth to her. That's why he's a great leader. So then next, encourages followers. So creates a can-do attitude. You can do. Nothing is difficult for you. By the power of God, I can do everything because of God. That can-do attitude. Because Peter, again you can see, he walked on water. People said, more than me, whatever I did, more than me, you can do. because he's not having a competition with his people. He wants people to do. Many leaders, if you have that insecurity, you will get scared whether your followers will go beyond you. So you put them down. But Jesus never did that. He told that more than me, you will do much greater things. He wanted people to do. Though we are not doing, He wants us to do it. So His role of a servant, to serve, not to be served, to provide, not to be provided, to help, not to be helped. So He was the most successful leader, cultivated trust. Among all His disciples, they had trust. Otherwise, the 12 bunch of men cannot change the society. They developed other leaders. Like Paul developed Timothy, right? And he entrusted Timothy, you develop others. And help people with life issues, offered encouragement. He was, instead of telling do, he was just trying to go alongside with them. Acted with humility, never lost sight of mission and goal. Always he had the goal. Why he came here? The cross was always before him. People were not ready to listen, his disciples. But he said, I have come for this very purpose. He was very sure, I have come for this purpose to bring man to God, to reconcile man to God. That's the reason. He was sure of his mission. So now coming to the last, attitude versus aptitude. It's your attitude. Somebody said that, Zig Ziglar said, it's not your aptitude, but your attitude that determines your altitude. How much you go in life is dependent on what is your attitude. Lion, if once it roars, the whole forest gets scared. Right? And eagle, a sheep, it needs a lot of sheep to be here. Each attitude of an animal you see, because of lack of time I am not going, but eagle, it flies always high. And when a storm comes, what it does? It uses the storm to rise high. The storm is what's supposed to bring the other things down. It uses the problems to ride high on the storms. So that is the power. Your attitude is so important compared to your knowledge. Nothing is about talent. Nothing is about IQ. Everything is about your learning mindset. You are a continuous learner or you are not a learner. Sometimes your continuous learning is important. I did my PhD at 40 years. After that last 10 years when I went on doing many studies, because it's not about the number of, what is your age. It's about what God has put in you to and make you to do it. So, because I could not finish my PhD for 5 long years and I didn't have any project till that, and then when I met Jesus on a deathbed in 2004 March, many of you would have, last time I said, afterwards I understood that I have a potential. I have someone who is much greater, with whose strength I can do anything. That's when I put a chair next to me. I asked Jesus, will you be my guide? And next 2 years I could write many international journal papers, and that's when I could finish my PhD. And then that's why I did MDiv and MA Christian Studies and Apologetics and Counseling. And because we can do something to the society. So I did everything after 40. So it's not that difficult. See, when they met their manufacturer, Gideon was thinking that he was nobody. Judges 6, you read about a person called Gideon. He thought he's nobody. He was scared of those mighty people and he was hiding because they'll come and take his things out. But an angel comes and he says, oh man, you mighty valor. He met his manufacturer. For example, a car, you have a car. The car is designed for some rating, 200 km per hour. But when you try to go for 150 itself, it will show you a little higher. It will not allow you to go to that level, whatever has been manufactured. So you think the car is only made for 150 km, but actually it's made for 200. Similarly, you are made for something greater, but you don't know that unless you meet the manufacturer. The car might not be knowing it is designed for 200. Till only the manufacturer knows it is made for 200. Because even when you try to drive fast, it will not allow you, it will not show the right reading. The same manner, Gideon did not know his power till an angel met him. Moses did not know till he saw the burning bush. He was telling, I am a man of stuttering lips, I cannot speak. But he could do mighty things. So many lakhs of people who could bring out of slavery. So how did Rosa Parks become a leader? You know, have heard about Rosa Parks? She was the person 1955, I think. He was Montgomery bus boycott movement she started because she was sitting in a bus and a white man came and asked her to get up. She did not get up. She said, somebody, are you tired? Because might be you're physically tired, you not get up. She said, no, I'm not physically tired, but I'm mentally tired to give in. Enough I have given in. When a person feels that I can fight against atrocities, in this world, lot of evils are going on. The greatest hell is reserved for the person who looks at it and does not do anything, somebody said. Many times we see the evil around and we do not bother about it. Let it go on. It's not affected, it affects us, it doesn't care. We don't care about it. That's why they said that greatest horror in hell is given to those who are just spectators. So this first lady, she stood and then the whole people saw her, and on December 1st she did not give place, and December 5th a court came to trial. Her case came to court for the trial. Many people, letters were sent out and people started bus boycott. They walked up to 20 miles for around a year or so without going in the bus to show that black and white cannot be divided on this basis. And even this Martin Luther King, when he spoke at the Mall of Washington, there was no WhatsApp to call people. 250,000 people showed up. They showed up for what? They did not show up for his Martin Luther King. They showed up for because he believed or they believed. Whatever he believed, they also believed that all the people are created same. So unless you create a purpose which birth this purpose in another person, you cannot create a mass movement, you cannot create a leadership. So why Martin Luther King could do it? Because people believed, I believe, he never went on telling 5 points, we'll do this. He said, I believe, I believe, I believe. People who believed on what he believed joined. 25% were whites who were there in that meeting. And Rosa Parks, white people joined her because they believed what she believed. Whites and blacks are not different, they are created equal. That's when they became leaders. Mahatma Gandhi became a leader because he understood that India had to be free. We cannot be under Englishmen. That's when he became a leader. When I became a leader, I met my manufacturer. I met God in a deathbed, and he showed me that I'm not a nobody, but I can be a somebody if he is greatest person in the whole universe is with me. That's what he showed me. So every one of us can be leaders in our own life. A leader, some few examples I will give. This Vincent, he is no more. He got many awards in the Afghanistan battle. He ran forward before all his troops. He was a war leader, and he saved many of his people, and he was killed. And he was awarded a great honor. Many times we have seen many people in the army, navy and air force becoming great leaders and giving their lives to protect us. They are real leaders. Hubble Space Telescope, when it was launched with 2 billion budget, it sent very bad images, blurry images. The whole NASA, many people resigned. Many people became alcohol addicts because they thought that so much billion was spent, but because they had the mirror was ground wrong. So another leadership were built in. 5 people walked in space for 7 days, and they put a little small mirrors to correct this error. And even now, Hubble is sending beautiful array of images from far up galaxies. So leadership can change things. And this Korean Airlines, around 17 airlines crashed sometime back. They analyzed the reason. In Korea, a junior person cannot look at a senior person and talk. They have so much hierarchy. So when a senior pilot is sitting and a junior pilot is seeing some problem, he's scared to tell the senior pilot. That's when so many errors had happened. So many times we think leadership is about hierarchy, when it should be about communication. It is not about hierarchy. So being connected, people need to feel that they belong and and are important. They should be happy. People need to be happy because when they work with you, when they serve you, they should be feeling happy. People need to have a purpose. See, I said that Martin Luther King had a purpose and he instilled a purpose in others, and that's what brought in a movement. That's what made them happy. So this is a law of happiness. This book you can read. I can tell the story about the squirrel, about beaver, about goose he used, and he brought in a beautiful story. This because of another 5 more minutes. I'm not taking it because he said that one lady who was not able to bring in results in her company. So she went and asked another person in that same company who can bring in results. He took her to a forest and showed how a squirrel was working, how a beaver was working, how a goose were shouting all the time, cheering one another. So you be happy, you cheer one another. And then the beaver, nobody was telling what to do. It automatically arranged everything. So putting workers in control. For example, you are supposed to take care of physics, your chemistry all the time. They know what they are supposed to do. No need for the leader to tell them what they are supposed to do. Everything can parallelly goes on, like beaver. And squirrel, they are goal driven. When the winter is going to come, the summer itself they start collecting things. So everybody are goal driven, everybody knows what they are going to do, and when they are cheering one another, helping one another, supporting one another, they can bring in a beautiful culture in the organization. That's what the story is about. It's called Gumbo culture. Thank you. How do I deal with them when they are not ready to cooperate? Because it's like you have a project and you create works for people, and sometimes when they refuse in initial stages of my leadership, I took it personally that why they are not cooperating might be something else, because many times jealousy sets in, many times pride sets in, ego sets in. But when later I understood it's not about the personal, you create a culture, you create an environment, and you give a countable job for everybody. You don't, sometimes we are having correct exact work, we don't give it to people. We give people work which joins with somebody else. There is a confusion. For example, 2 people are not going well with one another and you give them the same type of work. So you analyze the team first and analyze the uniqueness in everybody. And why they don't cooperate with you. Maybe it's their personal problem. For example, if somebody takes leave for some time because of their personal word, you would allow them. Don't scold them because of their personal problem, they are not able to contribute. But put somebody else for their work. So your work also will not suffer and they will also not suffer. So encourage them, help them out. Do not, I feel that we are supposed to give marks at the end of the time, and sometimes when people get angry with others, they purposefully put low marks and put them down. But I have always seen when you encourage people, when you just give good things even though they did bad to you, always after a few times they will start cooperating, they'll start doing the work, because they'll feel that maybe it is not a personal thing, it is they are doing for a purpose. So that will settle. There in every place, gossip is the worst thing. So many times what I do is when if a person comes and gossips me separately about another person, when the whole team comes, I tell it out. Because I tell that he said, why then they get so scared to tell me. I said that nobody can talk about the other person at the back of them and to me. That I have made it very clear, and I don't gossip about the other person to them directly. When you do it, they do it. So I have clearly told them you can never gossip. Whatever it is, you can tell me. If it's my mistake, you tell me. I'm ready to accept it. See why they gossip? Because they want they have lot of time. That's one reason. The another reason they gossip is they get some interest out of it, because the other person is listening. If none of us listen to such gossips, because when you are not sure, you listen and you spread to another, you spread to another, you spread to another, you do a great damage to that person. Because many times false things go much faster and it becomes a very bad negative culture. So bring in a culture where you don't listen to the other person wrong things unless you clarify. Because one of the person went and told about me to the director something wrong. He called me at once and he asked, "Did you tell?" I said no. Then he was standing there. That's when I understood that. But still now I always feel this person might not be trustworthy, but I understood that a person, if I have a doubt about the person, I should call the other one and clarify then and there. Otherwise it will create a culture where you produce negativity, and then it will go nowhere. So create a positive culture which leads to happiness, which leads to joy. People, we are working here 8 hours and 8 hours in the house. Most of the time we are here. So this is a family. So unless you bring in that family culture, okay, that person has done wrong, let me forgive and forget. Sometimes we don't follow Jesus Christ truly. That is one more reason we are not having a positive culture. Jesus never gossiped. Okay.
How can we achieve unity when we have people with different desires?
You are asking like different people have different thoughts and minds, different attitudes, different actions, and in that environment, how will I be able to bring in unity? So it's a tough situation because many people will have, like, everybody wants to have their thing done. It's all about me. Everything is because it's all about me. The second slide what we spoke. It's all about me, it's all about me. My wish had to be done. I have to come up. My things have to be done. So might be you bring in lot of leadership classes to bring such people and teach them that. Because many times earlier I was not knowing, leaders are not born, they are made. Because many times we don't know, we think that it's all about us and finally when we die nothing we carry. Because everything is, nowadays coronavirus is coming and people are so scared of their life. People are scared. When I came here in the flight, my sons were scolding me. So what I am telling is, life is it can come anytime it can go. But what we build people, how many people love us, how many people we have done good to them, that matters. I think we should set in that environment that if we keep helping them, whatever people does against us, and bring in that some purpose. This department has this purpose. That some purpose, vision statement. That vision and mission have to be built in the fabric of the organization. Everybody who are coming here, morning they are coming here for a vision. Evening they go, they know that this vision has to be done. So that vision and mission have to be built in and they have to be made accountable. They should, even though initially it might be difficult, but we can bring it like that way.
Thank you so much for giving the right mode of the future. And as scientists, what do scientists do?
That's two questions are there. One is science knowledge increases, people become atheists. It's not that way for me. When the scientific knowledge increased, last 4 years I did intense research on cosmology, geology, biology, and then I understood that the one who created should be beyond space, time and matter, should be involved in personal life of every human being, seeing the DNA. So when I went in a deep way into science, it pointed to my creator. For example, if you go to your house and your mother cooks something, your sister cooks something, you can find the difference. Who does it? And same manner, the creator has put in his fingerprints everywhere. When we look at that, we will know that this is a creator has done, a designer has done. So science brought me closer to my creator. And wherever I get chance, I tell them that this is a thing which has been created. But in office, we don't talk about God all the time. But when somebody is sick, you pray for them. When someone is not well, you go alongside with them. Somebody is suffering, you show your Christ-like attitude. And then you get a chance separately to speak about Jesus. And then you can tell them, because in work, we don't much directly, because God has also not warned, because you are supposed to do your work sincerely, but through your work, through your character, you can display Jesus Christ more effectively.